Good evening, Greg here, burning at both ends, burning on the back end of May 24th. It's a Thursday, it's 2018, it's 10:06 p.m. Pacific. Posting a little bit earlier tonight, let me move the center there. Posting a little bit earlier tonight, just because the timing is right. I came home from work, and I just had one of those moments where I had about a half an hour to myself, which is rare with the family. There was an open house tonight for the elementary school, and so I was going to meet them there. But since I bike, I had to come home and change. Anyway, so I had about a half an hour to myself, and I just got to thinking, and it was pretty cool. I completed a model of like a life model that I had been thinking about for many, many years. And for some reason today it just came to me, and the conclusion all came to me, and so that's what inspired tonight's talk. And it was also inspired by a man named Dennis that's part of my men's team. And it has to do with some advice I had given him years ago about job search. And it has to do with 3 questions to ask as you're looking for a job. Stretch there. So, what do I like to do? What am I good at? And how much money do I need to live the lifestyle I want? And by looking at those 3 questions and getting into answers, I can come to a very solid conclusion as to what do I need to do to move in that direction? Do I need to learn some new skills? Is what I'm good at not really in alignment with what I like to do? Are the job options not paying me enough to live the lifestyle I want? So it's really kind of a good core thing. And so this kind of folds into tonight's topic, which is what I'm calling the table of life. And so with the table of life, right, there are 3 key things that we have to work with in life, and that's time, our skill set, and resources that we require to live, right? And then, in my opinion, and this is what's been working well for me, is then there are 3 key postures we can embody to go about doing this, and those are patience, persistence, and the habit of taking action. And so I've been involved in self-development since about 2006. The first thing I ever did was the Secrets of the Millionaire Mind with T. Harv Eker. That's a really good weekend, I think. And then I did a bunch of his other programs, and then a bunch of other things since then. My men's team is part of that. So it's the constant process. It's almost like doing yoga, right? You're never really done. You just continually do it and grow and learn and things like that. And then it was today, right? So everything since like 2006, 2007, 8, and so on and so forth, when I left my job and started my business, I've been thinking about this thing. And for some reason today, I came home and I just completed it. It was really kind of strange, but at the same time very empowering and very cool. And this model, it works well for me. And it just helps keep like these like really high priority components like front and center in my life. And it helps me lead a powerful life. It helps me lead a life of choice, a life of intention, all these really good things. And so let's get into this table of life thing. And so if you download the outline, there's a little picture I drew when I was coming up with this afternoon, and you can check it out. Kind of has some of the details. And so the 2 components of the table are the tabletop and then the 3 legs. So let's get into the tabletop. And so the essence of the tabletop came from my business coach, Russell Cox. And it's essentially three budgets, if you will, right? Time budget, skill budget, resource budget, right? The time budget, right? And so in the outline, I've included good definitions of these. So time, a moment or definite portion of time allotted, used, or suitable for a purpose. So that's how I'm defining time. And then the question that goes along with it is, how would I like to spend my time, or better yet, invest my time, and then eventually leverage my time, right? So I'm thinking about what I'm doing. So this is linked to that, what do I like to do from that job search advice that I gave. The second is skill set. What's, skill set as defined by a range of skills or abilities or capabilities. So what am I good at? What can I do? What value can I bring to the market? Very simple. If I find that I'm weak in this area, I can always learn more things. I can get more skills. The other way to do it is I negotiate a job where maybe I'm not getting paid as much, but I'm in a position where I can learn a lot on the job, and I can advance myself that way. And then resources. So resources I'm defining as a stock or supply of money, material, staff, or other assets that can be drawn on by a person in order to function effectively. Now, typically resources in our modern day is money, but there are other types of resources. Like if I can do work and part of my compensation is room and board, we need shelter. That can certainly work. Or if I work at a restaurant and I get free food, So it doesn't have to be money. In our modern day, it's easier if it is money, because money can do a lot as far as buying us things that we need, like food and shelter and water, bubbly water and Mara lemon, for example. But the key question is, what do I need in terms of resources to live the way I'd like? Right? We're all different. Some people, they need a private jet, they need a mansion. Other people, they just want to bounce between, New York City and California every 6 months. And so as long as they're able to do that, that's fine. And they don't need a lot of money. They just want to be able to do that. Some people want to travel the world all the time. Some people just want to stay in one place. So it's, what do I need? What resources do I need to live the way I want to live? So that's the tabletop. And the tabletop was inspired by Russell Cox, my former business coach. And his little piece on that, and I've adapted it a tiny bit, but his piece has to do more with a project or a business where you have a time budget, a skill budget, and a dollar budget, right? And then there's this concept of, when you're in business, it's, how many days till you're bankrupt, right? That's an interesting way to think about a small business, because cash flow is king. Now money now. These are all great things. Anyway, so now the tabletop sits on 3 legs, right? Because it's supported by 3 main concepts, in my opinion. These 3 concepts are patience, persistence, and action, right? With these 3 things together, we can essentially execute what's on the tabletop. We can, execute this, how I'm going to spend my time, what skills am I going to obtain, and what resources am I going to get to live my life, right? And so, patience, definition: the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Interesting. Something I need to work on, something I am currently working on, but very important. And so the questions linked to this one are, how can I practice patience as I take this journey that is life? How can I really enjoy the journey, so that way it kind of, I can not get angry or upset? And then, how can I help myself to understand that anything worthwhile takes consistent focus and action over a long period of time? This is the patience, right? Long period of time, consistently showing up. These are difficult things to do. Persistence, so let's define that. Firm or obstinate continuance in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. So we all know about persistence. One of my favorite quotes about persistence, and patience. With enough patience and persistence, you can piss a hole through a rock. Very true. It's kind of a funny visual too, but I really like that one. I'm not sure why I like that so much, but I really do. So how can I be persistent and keep showing up with optimism as I take this journey in life? I think the key thing is optimism. Because we can keep showing up, but if we got a crummy attitude, that's really not going to help. And then, how can I help myself understand that anything worthwhile, once again, will require continued action in spite of obstacles and failures, and almost expect to see these things show up. So it's continued action. That's the key thing, action. And that brings us, to the 3rd leg, which is action. The fact or process of doing something, typically to achieve an aim. That's it. So how do we get into action? Critical, very critical. How can I make sure that I am constantly taking action, being bold, and putting myself out there? These are just the questions to ask as we're thinking about this. How can I help myself understand that action is the key element to growth? Very important there. Oops. All right. And now here's the process. I just did a little typo there in my outline. Here's the process. So, and it's the process is, unfortunately, it's very simple at this point. All right. Once we kind of get through all those definitions and the questions, that's the tough part. The process is the simple part. First, the legs. Let's go. So we'll go in reverse order. We'll go back up the table. So first, we'll start with the legs: patience, persistence, action. This is just the reality, the fact of life. You just need to embody these things. Just done. End of story. There's really no bargaining here on these three. I need to have them. That's just life. So just embrace them and make them my friend and leverage them as much as possible. And then the second part, essentially the tabletop, right, with the time, skill set, and resources. I need to focus on these things, and then this is where there's a lot of freedom. I'm free to pick whatever will fit here, but there are some requirements about what I can choose from, right? And so self-awareness shows back up here, because this is the key thing to really being real with myself on what I should be doing, how I should be spending my time to get the resources that I really need in life. This is critical. This is the self-audit. Gary Vaynerchuk is a big proponent of this. He talks about this a lot. I really appreciate his continued pushing on this, because I think it's so important. And so with self-awareness, I can choose the best inputs for each of those three: time, skill set, resources. And here are some more of the requirements, is that I really want to think of this as an investment on the front end so I can have leverage on the back end, right? So maybe in the beginning it's a little slow and it's a little clumsy, and I'm learning, and maybe a lot more mistakes because maybe I picked the wrong initial path and I got to correct a little bit. But then over time, I should start to see an inflection point, and I should start to see some leverage where now I'm still working hard, but I'm seeing a lot more fruits of my labor. All right, I've built leverage, and I'm able to do more with less, or with the same amount of effort, I'm able to do tremendously more. So that's critical there. So yeah, and check out the outline. I got a little picture I drew. That's kind of what I drew this afternoon when I was inspired to finish this model. And I have to say, I've really been practicing this. I really think about this on a regular basis. This infinite game thing folds beautifully into this. A lot of the, T. Harv, by the way, T. Harv really inspired the legs, the patience, persistence, and action part. Russell Cox inspired the time, skills, and resources part. And then I just kind of put them both together, and I really find that this is a really simple, straightforward way to think about life and think about how to go after what I want in life. And I've been using this entire time, and I'm really glad that I finally kind of brought it to conclusion, and now I have a model to look at, and I hope that it helps you. So if you like what you hear, subscribe, comment down below, tell me about your journey, tell me about your challenges. I'd love to be of service. I'd love to help. Throw a problem at me. I'd love to try to solve it. I've linked some motivational videos down below. If you like that stuff, check it out. Really been helping me a lot. And then if you like the beats in the background, that's my alter ego G Money. I write beats. I've been playing drums for decades now. So I write these beats for like drum quintets and sextets. So check it out. You can listen to them for free on SoundCloud. And then one more music plug. I'm really into this DJ that I just learned about through my Ents platform. I'm really digging Ents. Please download it. Join us. Get your voice out there. But DJ Tasha Blank. I learned that she, through an Ents, that she was DJing at VoiceCon, which was Gary Vaynerchuk's event from May 22nd there, obviously about voice. And I was like, you know what? When I heard the Ents and I heard that she was spinning, I'm like, anyone spinning at a Gary V event must be really cool and really like on their game. So I checked her out on SoundCloud. Really digging her DJ sets. I've linked one down in the description. Check it out. Really good dance music. Really kind of keeps you going if you're working. Got that good kind of like house beat to it. So anyway, check it out. Really good stuff. DJ Tasha Blank out of New York. So, and hopefully next time I go back there, maybe she'll be spinning and I'll check her out live. I think that'd be pretty dope. So yeah, that's tonight's post. Like I said, subscribe, comment down below. Would love to hear from you. And go out and inspire someone and do some amazing things tomorrow. And I will see you in the morning.